Stock market today analysis for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. We're going to be looking at some economic events that happen and ones that are coming. We're going to be looking at a variety of markets and sectors of the stock market, things like that. If you want to make some money from the stock market, but you don't want to get into all the weeds and the gobbledygook of this stuff, consider selling some cash secured put options on stocks that you would like to own. In the description of this video, there is a link to ifsuccess.com. Get these downloads. Below that link to ifsuccess.com, there's a playlist. It's a little bit below, maybe 4 inches. I don't know. Just look through there. It'll say something like trading options for beginners, with beginners in all caps, or playlist for beginners, option playlist for beginners, something like that. Beginners is all capitalized. With these two downloads and the 5 videos in that, plus a video that's going to be popping up right here in 15 seconds, 1 minute, 30 seconds. You can remember that, right? 1.5 minutes, pretty close to the beginning. That video will tell you why you should be doing it, right? It's popping up. Get ready. Here it is. Boom. It just popped up right there. So just remember, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Go back and watch that. When you know why, the how-to becomes a lot easier. So with a playlist in the description of this video, with these downloads, the how-to, you'll be in a position to start paper trading, the how-to to figure out, put the final icing on the cake. And with that video at 1 minute and 30 seconds, you understand the whys. You can get right into it. Now today we had Fed Chair Powell speak, apparently at around 7:40 a.m. I'm assuming this is Eastern Standard Time. And it seemed to move the markets a bit, right? Where nothing on here really shows that, other than, it's kind of a down day in the futures if we looked at it in like an hourly chart. And after that, maybe the President Biden speaking, got a variety of things. This is showing things in USD, Japanese yen, and the euro, and the Chinese, what is that? Renminbi, or Chinese yen. I forgot. I'm sorry, Rochelle. Rochelle's my friend from China. I'm sorry, I forgot your currency. All right, boo-how. Anyways, so what do we got going on tomorrow? Tomorrow we got this guy speaking. These things in red will probably have the most potential movement of the markets. If you really want to dig, this is one I like to pay attention to. But check out this Forex Factory if you want. Another one that you can check out is this Market Screener. See if you like that, or don't pay attention to that stuff. For years I haven't been paying attention to that. Just selling cash secured put options on stocks that I want to own, doing the wheel strategy, sometimes not. All right, futures. Take a quick look at those futures. Down on the VIX, up on the 4 indices of the stock market. One thing that's worth noting, well, I'll note that when we get to the full-on futures. But let's see, new candle starting here, and it's starting at the top of where the body has closed for all 4 of those indices. 10-year treasury yield really skyrocketed up over the last 3 trading days, and down a little bit right now, but it's in the top half of the prior candle. Crude oil really took a bump up. It hit this low. Do you remember me talking about? It seemed like it's in this range of about 72 to 82, somewhere in there. Touched that 82, and now bumped up here to about 77 and some change. Natural gas seems to be kind of bottoming out here, picking up just a little bit. So this is one to study to see what what do patterns look like when they start bottoming out? And the reason why several videos ago I started talking about that is because more than likely natural gas isn't going to go to zero. So I knew sooner or later it was going to start bottoming out. I think I was talking about that down here, and it went even lower. But it seems like kind of making this, instead of having a sharp pivot like this, it's kind of more of a rounded bottom. There's a sharp kind of pivot right in there too. Gold, we got these weak candles, and it's in the bottom 50% of the trading range. Same thing over here for silver. And Bitcoin is really just maintaining above that 22,000. So maybe it's building a new base. Again, tried to test this 24, but pulled back. And seems to be in this range between 22 to 24 at the moment. The dollar via UUP, an index for it, bumped up just like those the 10-year treasury on the futures, right? The last 3 days, it really has bumped up compared to where it has been trading over the last about 30 days of trading. And TLT has sold off. We already looked at gold, we looked at crude oil, we looked at Bitcoin. The VIX dropped down today, hit as high as 20, but seems to be kind of in this range, more along like 20 something to about 18 something. I know it got down here to like 17, so it's relatively remain in this low area. Now look at these wide range candles here. Something that's worth noting is that here was our high, and in 2 days, 2 trading days, it dropped down. Now here, back in 1 trading day, where are we at with that? At about this, and it's like in the bottom. It tried to get up to the more in the top 50% of that candle, but closing in the bottom 50%, but showing us some potentially strong bullishness. Kind of see the same thing happening over here in the Dow Jones, similar in the NASDAQ, and not as strong in the Russell 2000 though. Russell 2000 looks like we're just in that tail end of the bottom, kind of in the bottom 10%, roughly 10-15%, somewhere in there. But overall, looking at the moment, still looking somewhat bullish. But I wouldn't be surprised if we keep seeing some volatility, right? So it seems like it's at least the S&P 500 still in this uptrend. Pulled back here, pivoted, and tomorrow, if we get a candle looking kind of like looking somewhere up here, then would seem like it's continuing that sort of uptrend. And yeah, let's see what happens. We got to right around here. We can. I had spoken before about, I don't know if I said it on video or I sent it out in the, I'm pretty positive, I don't remember, I remember writing about it and sending it out. If you want to get stuff like that, then download some stuff over here, and then you get roughly about 6 days a week sending stock market related stuff out. And one thing that I had talked about is that I'm kind of as far as having a firm idea of which direction the market's going to go, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen between this 420 to 440 area. And so far, the market's kind of been going sideways, right? And sideways as far as you see all this kind of congestion right in this area. Dropped down here, went back up, dropped down here, went back up. That's a long run, but it went back down here, then went back up, but not as high. For me, I'm seeing a lot of sideways action here. So if it gets up somewhere between this 420 and 440, without really breaking the sideways trend, it could start coming back down. If it, depending on what it does in this area, will kind of give me a more of a clear indication of what I think is going to have, what kind of trend that we're taking for a longer term. But regardless of that, I'm not sitting back waiting to make money. I'm a net option seller, and for the most part, I sell cash secured put options on stocks that I want to own. And I love dividends. I love writing covered calls when I get assigned. Certain stocks I will want to hold longer, so maybe I'm less aggressive on the writing the covered calls. And other stocks, I might get assigned and then start writing a covered call 50 cents, $1, $2 away from the price that I bought it at, just because I don't mind rotating that money a little faster. So me personally, I'm not waiting for a direction before I take action. I'm taking action, but I still like to try to pick the direction. I would say it looks like we got a continued trend in this in the technology sector. Definitely want to see what happens tomorrow. Is it going to start building some resistance right around this the high 143s, the low 140s, somewhere in that range? It potentially might. Maybe it's going to start doing that. We'll see tomorrow. If it really just kind of blasts through there, then it's probably not going to do that. But if it gives us some sort of look where it's kind of going sideways a little more, then that's potentially what might happen. But nah, I wouldn't be surprised if it went up. Now, over here on the healthcare sector, at the moment, no real change to this downward trend channel. Although it could be tomorrow if we have another nice day. You got good volume over. You got good volume over here. Follows up with another day with good volume. You got good volume over here for buying volume if it follows up with another day. So we'll see. But at the moment, hasn't really broken out of this downward trend, but it could. Financials, we see that this was really helpful to kind of keep this shorter bull trend in place. However, right in here, looks like it's starting to get resistance as it gets closer to this 37 and pulls back. Got above 37, but pulled back right to 37. So similar thing. Are we gonna be building a bit of some resistance, or is it gonna just kind of blast through that? Now, if it does start building resistance in either one of these, but it stays close to those resistance area, to the top of that resistance, there's a chance that it could still pop through it. And industrials pulled back, not as strong as a candle as we see over in the financials or in the tech sector, but nonetheless, it's still bullish, and we got to see how long it's going to take to kind of get back up to this 104 area. Basic materials had a strong candle today, but look how much it dropped. So we're not seeing as much. We're just kind of back to the bottom 50% of this candle. Oh, Chinese yuan. Is that it? The Chinese yuan? Maybe. Anyways, just popping into my mind here. Definitely when this video is done, I'll probably remember it. And I find it pretty comical because I've lived in Hawaii for 22 years, and I can speak a little bit of Chinese, mainly on the Mandarin side, and usually I can usually remember different countries' currencies and that type of thing just from living here and having acquaintances from you know, all these different ethnic groups. Like, definitely got my Chinese friends. That's how I learn Bu Hao, Ni Hao Ma, Wo Hen Hao, Sai Tian, Kung Tiao. You know, little, just some things like that. So we had this pullback over here in the telecommunications, communications, whatever. What exactly do they call this? They call it the communication, the communication sector. But it pulled back. It pulled back over the last these 2 days. It pulled back, and this day, right? It's kind of coming up, but we got to see it get back up here. Down over here at energy, you know, energy is got out of this bull trend. It really kind of started having this bearish, short-term bearish trend right here. Is this potentially? It looks like it could be ending the bearish, you know, trend, and I just mean bearish trend from like right here to right here. Some like long bearish trend, but it could be a long bearish trend. Let's actually take a look. Let's take a look at that. Look at that on XLE. What is this? 6 months. Let's switch this up here. Let's look at 2 years weekly. All right, XLE, 2 years on the weekly. Right, we got. I would say it's kind of been moving sideways, but definitely, at least this ETF has not been in a bearish trend really. Even though we had some sell-offs, we got this pivot point here, so it's kind of topping. We definitely got a high, potentially a lower high, but we also got low, a little bit of higher low, higher low, higher low. So maybe in a long term, if it's sort of flat on this side and it's kind of wedging this side, sometimes what happens is it ends up breaking to that side. Not necessarily a guarantee. It's just that sometimes that happens. So kind of right back sideways, right? Here's where we are about 30 days ago, and this is where we are today. So overall, it's been up and down and just kind of went sideways. But overall, you know, I'm seeing just a lot more volume in the stock market here, and consumer discretionary pulled back. Even though it's a bullish candle, it's not really, it's not looking like this. Like here, technology, right? It's right back up to those highs. Whereas also financials right back over those highs. Doesn't look like anything else is really doing that. A lot of stuff, utilities, still kind of moving sideways to downish. So if I don't know what I don't know you. I don't know what your trading style is, but I'll tell you what, I really love my trading style, and I love my trading style not because it's super lucrative, because it's not. I'm actively taking less profit in order to have higher predictable outcomes. And for me, living in the Hawaiian Standard Time Zone here, you know, for example, so I can pull this up. So right now it is it's 8 p.m. in the place where the stock market runs on this time zone, right? So 8 p.m. there, 3 p.m. here. And so for me, I basically, when the stock market opens, I naturally wake up around 6:30. And so I don't wake up and jump out of bed and have my mind fully going. I kind of got this slow routine of waking up and, you could say, like, I guess in my old age I became a slow starter, and maybe I always was, but I just remember these days more than when I was 20. But whatever, nonetheless. So for me, my living situation, and then not only that, but I have a type of occupation that once I get my work day started, there is kind of no making adjustments. I can kind of look at what's going on with the stock market, but that's about it. Like, it's not going to be easy for me to make adjustments. So I do a lot of trading where I don't need to make adjustments. I'm selling cash secured put options on stocks that I want to own. So what ends up happening is that if the option expires worthless, I make money. If the option does not expire worthless, I still keep this premium, which I kept here. And on this side, if it does not expire worthless, I take ownership of a minimum of 100 shares of assets. And it goes right into my asset column. This is a financial statement, income column, expense column, liability column, asset column. And because I do this on stocks that give dividends, as long as I own this asset, generally every quarter, it's putting more money into my income column while I'm still selling more options. More assets going in here. All right, so it really has this profound effect over time. It's difficult to lose money. It's not impossible, but it's definitely difficult to lose money. Like, if you get an Enron, you're gonna lose money. You get a Blockbuster, you're gonna lose money. If you're selling cash secured put options on stocks that aren't really fundamentally sound, or they got some issues with them, and sometimes you might just lose money. But it hasn't happened to me yet. The only way I've ever lost money trading was like being over leveraged, so selling options naked, or doing directional trades that like, let's say I didn't want to own the stock for a long time, or I did a directional trade with an option. It's like the only time I really lost money is when I was doing directional trades, or I was over leveraged, or some sort of outcome where generally what would happen is, on option expiration date, there's two things that could happen. One, I make money, and we'll put breaking even over in this side, right? Break even, we'll put it over in the category of this. Or two, lose money. That's generally what has happened. And it takes some work to break even. It takes some work to do adjustments and all these things. And for my lifestyle at the moment, I just really can't feasibly do it. And I get paid a decent amount of money at work, so I don't want to be compromising cushy paychecks. There will come a time, though. There will come a time when I'm just trading for a living. But that time is not here at the moment, my friends, and you might be like that too. You might have a job, so I would consider, if you have a job, if you have a family, like, I don't have a family, but if I did, I would do this. It would be even more vital for me to be selling cash secured put options on stocks that I don't mind owning. Because for me personally, I want to be a deadbeat dad. If I'm going to have a family, like, I'm going to my kids' games. I'm paying attention to my kids. I'm not watching TV. I'm not sitting there watching the stock market when they want my attention. That's just not the type of person I am. If you're that type of person, then, well, whatever. So, anyways, that's what I'm doing. What you're doing, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I've never met you before. I have no clue what you're doing. But what I would suggest is trying to do this learn how to do it. It's free to learn. Get yourself a paper trading account. Like the great thing about this is that this is not an either or. It's not like if you sell cash secured put options, you can't do anything else. No, and what will happen is you will get, once you kind of get the strategy under your belt. Let's say you have less than a year of actual real life trading experience, right? Maybe you've been learning about it a little bit for like 6 months, but you actually have less than a year of, let's say, paper trading or real money trading. Then when you're doing strategies like this, it makes it difficult to lose money. So what happens is that because you're not losing money, you keep going forward. Every time that I've taken a pause in trading, it was because of losing money. Every time that I've seen someone stop trading, it was because they lost money. They might have dressed it up. I don't dress it up to myself. I would just know, like, hey, look what happened. You lost money. Now look, you're not even opening your account. But you know, people that I knew, acquaintances, they would dress, oh, you know, I'm just really busy and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, you lost some money. I can tell. So, you know, put yourself in a position for maybe, you know, you paper trading it. When you're ready, you start doing it for the real deal, and put some wins under your belt. Put some wins under your belt. Put some wins under your belt. Get used to looking at some charts. Get used to doing stuff, because you're selling, let's say you're selling cash secured put options. You're like, oh, you know what? Looks like to me, it looks like if it's going to pull back, it's not going to pull back further than this, right? Test it out. See if your ability to look at the charts was right. Do it in a paper trading account. That way, you know, if you're wrong or if you're right, it's just practice. Now, a lot of people, they won't want to do this. They just want to jump right into the live money. And there's some like trading gurus that will say, you know, you can't learn anything from paper trading. And you know, if it was true that you can't learn anything from simulated training, then let's see. I don't know what that is. If it were true that you can't learn anything from simulated things, then why would people spar? Have you heard of Canelo? Why would he be sparring? If you can't learn anything, is this a real fight? No, it's not. So why would he be doing it? Why would there be so much information on sparring? Why is it when it comes to sports, why is it that people have no problem learning through simulation? But when it comes to the stock market, why is it that a lot of people got their head stuck up their butt and they say that it's no good? Would you get into the ring with Canelo without sparring? Would you say, no, I just want the real thing, so I'm just going to go fight the best in the world. That's how I'm going to learn. Now, you might say, well, Brent, you know, of course I'm not going to get in a ring with Canelo, but when I get into the stock market, you know, I'm not against the professionals. Oh, really? How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know who's on the other side of this trade? Because if you're selling, somebody's buying. If you're buying, somebody's selling. Does it show you in the option chain who's on the other side of your trade? No, it doesn't. So how can you legitimately lie to yourself and believe the lie that you're not up against professionals? You are. You are up against professionals. See, in boxing, you know it because you're looking over at him and he's looking at you and he sees the fear in your eyes and you see that he's going to clean your clock. The problem with this is you're not looking across the computer screen. You're not on Zoom and you're not seeing that, you know, you're up against, I don't know, some some dude in his 70s that doesn't golf anymore. He's just trading, and he's been trading, you know, he's been making charts before computers were there and he's drawing them out by hand. These are some of the people you're up against. You don't think so? Then you need to educate yourself. You don't need to. I don't really care. I'm just pointing out you could educate yourself. You don't want to educate yourself? I don't care. Because ultimately, if you can pay your kids, pay for food or pay for a vacation for your family, that has no effect on me. I hope you do, and I hope for your kids' sake, I hope you educate yourself. But if you go broke, you lose all your money, you get a divorce, it's not my wife. It just potentially frees up one more lady and makes me a more valuable male in the marketplace, right? Because your good buddy Brent, I ain't losing no money. Not really. I'm not blowing up my accounts anymore. I already blew up my accounts. That's how I learned this stuff. Anyways, that's enough of lecturing. I'm definitely not. It might come across like I'm taking some superiority thing. I am not, and I apologize if it comes across that way. I'm really trying to point out the fact to you that you should paper trade. You really should paper trade, right? Paper trade. Consider, like, you do not know who you're up against. Consider that you're trading against Canelo, the Canelo of trading, right? Consider that you're trading against this guy. This is who you're against. Never heard of him? That's okay. You don't have to hear of him, right? That's who you're against. You don't know who it is. This is who you're against, right? You don't know these guys. They don't know you. Guy's been trading since the 1980s. You start trading a year ago. You think you're going to beat this guy? No, you're not. So don't do that, right? Paper trade. Paper trade. Paper trade. Learn how to do some stuff in paper trade. Okay, you guys have a fantastic day. Aloha.